Hey, and welcome to this About Coding video. My name is Nicholas and I will be presenting. This video will be an introduction to encapsulation. So in this video, I'm going to talk about encapsulation. More precisely, I'm going to talk about what people say it is. Then I'm going to share a few words about what I think about it. And then we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the common terminology of encapsulation, being bundling data and operations and information hiding. I know, I know what some of you might think. Like, hey, yeah, but I already know encapsulation. But you know what? Just watch the video anyway, because this is not your regular encapsulation video, and you might gain some new insights. So let's start with what people say about encapsulation. Encapsulation is one of the core concepts of object-oriented programming. Other core concepts are abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Now, when people talk about encapsulation, there's a couple of terms that they often use. That being bundling data and operations versus information hiding. Now, in this slide, these two terms seem to be pointing toward each other, and there's a very good reason for that. It seems like there is a never-ending discussion about bundling versus information hiding. When reading about encapsulation on the internet, it seems like the world of software development just can't agree on what encapsulation actually is. On one hand side, you have a group of people who firmly believe that encapsulation is just the bundling of data and operations on that data. But opposing to that, there's a group of people who are absolutely convinced that encapsulation is all about information hiding. This is a very academical discussion and actually not really useful to us. However, in the context of software design, I do see great value in bundling data and operations together. And I also think it's very important to hide as much information as possible. So instead of discussing what encapsulation really is, maybe in the context of software design, it's more beneficial to look at encapsulation as a designing technique. So I think that encapsulation can be a designing technique where we bring data and behavior together and then try to hide as much information as possible. So let's start with bundling data and operations. So, bundling data and operations. You take a bit of data, you add a bit of operations, right? It's that simple, but actually it isn't. How can this be hard to do? Like I said before, the idea is indeed simple enough. You take some data, you add a bunch of operations to that, you put those together into a file, and you stick a name to it. Java, like many other object-oriented languages, allow us to do that. But I guess you already realize that a class called random stuff that has random data and random operations in it just isn't that helpful. So the real question is, what do you bundle together? You bundle together what belongs together. So the part of encapsulation where you bundle data and operations is all about cohesion. Now, what is cohesion? Cohesion indicates how well the elements of a component fit together. A component that could be a class, that could be a package, it could be a microservice. Now, how well the elements of a component fit together should always be seen in a certain context. And a context that could be like sharing a purpose, or maybe they form a process. So, the real difficulty of bringing together data and operations is deciding what to bring together. About information hiding. So, information hiding is not about hiding information from people who are reading your code or who want to read your code. But I guess you already knew that. Instead, information hiding is all about denying access to information from classes that want to use your code. Information hiding is all about limiting access to information. In Java and in many other object-oriented languages, You have keywords such as public and private. These keywords limit access to data and operations in your class. Or in other words, these keywords determine if the data and/or operations in your class can be used or accessed by another class. So that's why we call these keywords access modifiers. Now, other languages might have other keywords or might have other constructs to do this, but the important thing to understand is the following. What cannot be accessed cannot be misused or changed. So, as a developer, by using these access modifiers, you define how your code should be used. You are defining a user interface, or rather a programming interface. A programming interface tells another class how it can interact with your class. A programming interface tells what a class can do. You can look at your class in this way. Everything that can be accessed or used by another class forms the API of your class. In other words, it's the programming interface of your class. And all the rest can be considered implementation details. Now I'll explain more what implementation details really are in another video. So other classes can only see the API of your class, and the implementation details are hidden from them, hence the term information hiding. So as a developer, you define how your code should be used, so it is your responsibility to only expose what is essential for the correct working of your class. What are the key takeaways from this introduction to encapsulation? First, bundling data and operations is all about cohesion. It's about bringing together data and operations that share a common goal or maybe form a process. Secondly, information hiding is about restricting access to information, and by doing so, defining how your class should be used. The result of using encapsulation as a designing technique is units of code that contain everything to fulfill a purpose and share only with other classes what is needed to be used correctly. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.